Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Spinster, where I analyze the behavior of the minions of the Pussy Hat Goddess, aka the women's movement, to try to figure out who the Pussy Hat Goddess actually is. Because lover or hater, we need to understand her. If you hear something you like, please feel free to like, comment, or share below. I would really appreciate it. So today, I want to look at what is actually being done by the Pussy Hat Goddess and her minions to help women who have been victims of sexual assault or women who could potentially be victims in the future. And what I'm finding is a big old fat nothing. So, what they're communicating, what they're putting out through the Pussy Hat Goddess communication system is that, well, this, if Kavanaugh gets confirmed, then that just means that women are going to be at risk and nobody cares because it means that men will be able to get away with it. We're telling teenage girls that if they're sexually assaulted now, that the man will just get away with it. And that is the typical minion superficial analysis, surface level only, because it ignores the one big variable that is missing from Dr. Ford's claim, and that is evidence. If there was evidence, if she had corroborating evidence, this would be an entirely different discussion. If she had evidence, then this would have been over a long time ago. If she had evidence, Kavanaugh would be gone. We are having this discussion because she doesn't have evidence. So, what the Pussy Hat Goddess and her minions should actually be telling young women is get evidence. Women today are in a much better position to do that than ever before in history. You carry with you everywhere a handheld computer with a camera and video recording device. So when something happens, you are better equipped than any woman has ever been in the history of mankind to prove that something happened to you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's going to be emotionally easy to think rationally and logically after suffering through an assault like that. But that's where your power lay. So you don't have to be a helpless victim. Sometimes you can't help being a victim, but sometimes you can help being helpless. You are not stripped of all your power. There are things you can do, and you should do them, whether you intend to use that evidence or not, because you could change your mind down the road, and this gives you that option. Get the evidence and then decide whether or not to use it. And tell somebody, even if it's only you, even if all you do is get someplace where you feel safe and record yourself telling your story and save that. That would be powerful. That would be evidence. If Dr. Ford had had a diary entry where she had talked about what had happened to her, we would be having an entirely different conversation. But that's not the message that the Pussy Hat Goddess and their minions are spreading to young women. They're sowing fear. They're telling them that they're going to be victimized, and that even after they're victimized, they'll be victimized again by old white men. And I love that, because the Pussy Hat Goddess minions are wonderful multitaskers, because they are racist, ageist, and sexist all at the same time. So it comes down to whatever happened to empowering women. That used to be what the women's movement was about, was empowering women to make their own choices and follow their own dreams and live their lives as they choose. But it was never without consequences. Actions have consequences. Nobody can protect you from the consequences of your actions, especially not the Pussy Hat Goddess. And the truth is that in a situation like a sexual assault, the only one that is always with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, the only one that is there to protect you every minute of every day is you. And you have to be prepared to do that. Now, I was lucky. I was raised by a feminist who didn't know she was a feminist. She was a pragmatist and a realist. And she understood that depending on a man to take care of you was simply impractical, because life happens. And although you may have a man to take care of you, you may have an absolutely wonderful man who sees to your every need. Where are you when he dies? What happens if he gets hit by a bus? What happens if he gets cancer? What happens if he dies young and now you're left to raise 3 kids on your own with no way to support yourself? My mother wanted to make sure that her daughters were able to take care of themselves. My father was a feminist who didn't know he was a feminist. Just because he had daughters instead of sons didn't mean that we didn't know how to do some basic maintenance on the car, like, how to jumpstart the battery, how to check the oil, how to replace all the fluids, how to change a tire, all that stuff that keeps you from being helpless in a crisis. Didn't mean that we didn't know how to mow our own lawn and hang pictures and fix furniture and do all of those things in life that happen, because shit happens. I mean, my God, it was on t-shirts and bumper stickers all over the world. Hi, baby. Okay, down. Down. Oh, such a good boy. And yet we're ignoring it. We're pretending that somehow women can be insulated from all the bad things in life if they just climb under the big pink pussy hat of protection. And the truth is that pink pussy hat offers no protection. Now, they'll fight for stuff in the government. They'll fight for the protections of women. But as an individual woman, they can't protect you. Okay, come on, get out. Nobody can protect you every minute of every day. That is something that you have to do for yourself. And it sucks. Being free and being empowered is hard, but it beats the alternative. Because if they're going to be able to protect you, protect every woman from ever being sexually assaulted, they have to control everybody. And dictators have been democratically elected by promising to protect people. Hey, you know what? If you just give me your power, if you give me your freedom, I'll take care of you and everything will be wonderful. All you have to do is let me make every decision in your life for you. Doesn't that sound wonderful? And that's basically who the Pussy Hat Goddess is. She wants to be able to make your decisions for you. She wants you to delegate your power to her. And then she, in turn, delegates the power over to the government. So if you have delegated your power, are you still empowered? No. You are empowered when you claim your power. You can be empowered unless you have a dog. If you have a dog, they hold all the power. You can be empowered simply by claiming your power. Reclaim your power. Make your own decisions. And take responsibility for your own actions. The Pussy Hat Goddess loves to tell people, well, if men just didn't rape. And that's true. If men didn't rape, we wouldn't have this problem. If men didn't sexually assault, we wouldn't have this problem. If women didn't sexually assault men or other women, we wouldn't have this problem. But you know what? If nobody stole, we wouldn't have theft. We wouldn't have burglary. If nobody stabbed, we wouldn't have assaults and violence in that way. So if nobody did what they're not supposed to do, we would have no crime. We would need no police and we would need no government. That's a fantasy land. So get off the boat to Fantasy Island and come back to reality. Because the reality is people do bad things. And sometimes you can take all the precautions in the world and a bad thing is still going to happen to you. And you've got to be able to deal with that. And some of that is just find somebody to talk to about it. Find a way to work through it. But the whole idea that women should be able to do whatever they want and be safe, absolutely protected under the big pussy hat sphere of protection is absurd. It is ridiculous and it's a freaking lie. She can't do it. No one can. I live in a safe neighborhood. That doesn't mean I go to bed at night with my doors unlocked. Because even though I may be at a low risk for having my home burglarized, a low risk is still a risk. And if I can mitigate that risk by locking my doors with deadbolts and chains and having dogs that'll bark their heads off if somebody comes in, all to the better. So it really bothers me that the Pussy Hat Goddess and her minions, instead of seeking to empower women through education and motivation and inspiration are reverting to their old favorite tool of victimization. It's sad. And I think we can turn it around. I hope we do turn it around. But it is going to require that we understand who the Pussycat Goddess is and what she's doing and the power that she's trying to claim, and that we reclaim our power from her. And if you want to be part of the women's movement, because like I've said in previous videos, the women's movement has done some wonderful things in history. We should be able to be part of that and maintain our own power. We should not have to abdicate our personal empowerment to the Pussycat Goddess in order to benefit from the work that she is doing. Because honestly, if the work she is doing is in the interest of individual women and not the conceptual collective of what women are, then she should have no need for our power. She should want us to keep our power and to use our power individually. I went out and looked at the website for the National Organization of Women just to see what they were saying about all of this. And every article out there, every link that was displayed was about stopping the Kavanaugh nomination. It was about marching against it, how to volunteer for it, all of the how to sign an open letter to stop it. It was just, there was nothing about how to help actual individual women who have been victims of sexual assault. Nothing. What I did find, which was really interesting, was an exploration of what it even means to be a woman anymore. And what gender fluidity is doing. So instead of protecting women, we're trying to define who women are, which strips our individuality from us. Because as women, we are different. We are individuals. Even somebody who believes they're a woman and they've still got the body of a man is an individual with their own idea of who they are. And they should be able to have that idea of who they are. I have an idea of who I am. That doesn't mean that I think all women need to be like me. The species would die out if all women were like me. We don't want that. I want the species to go on. I just don't want to personally have to propagate it. So the Pussycat Goddess and her minions have taken your power and offered you nothing in return. Take your power back. Reclaim your power. Reclaim your brain. Think for yourself. Act for yourself in your own best interest. Be prepared for the difficulties that you face in life, because there are difficulties. You're going to deal with assholes. You have to know how to do it. You can't just expect the Pussycat Goddess to come rolling in the family vulva to deal with a situation every time you're talking to a chauvinist pig. You need to be able to handle that. Educate yourself. And if you're not someone who is comfortable with confrontation, then find somebody who can help you with that. Tell somebody else. Go report him to HR. If we stop putting up with it individually, it will become less and less frequent. But I highly doubt it's ever going to go away. Because people build up their own prejudices. And people are flawed. So somebody's always going to want to attack you for being a woman. And sometimes they're only doing it not because they hate women, but because they know that's what will hurt you. We need to be strong, and we are strong. You are stronger than the Pussy Hat Goddess and her minions think you are. You are stronger than you think you are. Much stronger. Reclaim your power. Reclaim your brain. Hashtag Pussy Hat Goddess. Like, comment, share below. Thank you.